Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael and we're going to be getting right back into some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's begin. This story was posted by a deleted user in the True Off My Chest subreddit. The post is titled, "I'm breaking up with my BF of 2 years because of a TikTok comment. I feel so icky. We've been together since I was 16 and he was 17. My friend sent me a link to this TikTok of these two guys talking about how when one of them cheated on his girlfriend, she cheated on him after finding out instead of working to fix the relationship. The man in the video said it was his biggest heartbreak because while his one-night stand meant nothing to him, she slept with one of his ex-friends who she had a crush on before they got together. The video said it's a woman's duty to be nurturing and forgiving in a relationship and that women have to understand that certain men aren't monogamous. My friend sent it to me and said, I cannot believe how out of touch these men are. And after watching the TikTok, I decided to read the comments. The first one I see is my BF tagging two mutual friends of ours and saying women. One of our friends responded to the comment and said, females are so dramatic, and my BF responded agreeing with him. I feel sick. I thought we had the same views on things like this. He was raised by a single teen mom who worked 3 jobs to keep a roof over his head, food in his mouth, and allow him to play soccer despite their tight budget and expensive little league fees. When we first started dating, I asked him who his role model was, and he said his mom. He went on and on about how strong and brave she is and how much he appreciates her for all she does for him. His mom was single and living alone at 17 because my boyfriend's father cheated on her after she gave birth and was recovering because he can't be expected to just not have sex for 8 weeks. I'm just upset. I'm at school right now typing this out in one of the bathroom stalls because I just can't keep this to myself anymore. I'm disgusted with him. He texted me earlier this morning asking if I want to hang out after school, and I said yes. I'm gonna break up with him and tell him why. ETA. He has commented under almost every post this account has made, agreeing with all of their misogynistic views. He thinks that girlfriends and wives are the property of the men they're with. Edit 2, I'm not just gonna show up at his house, say, we're done, and leave. I'm gonna tell him what I saw and if there's no explanation for it. I don't know what the hell kind of justification there is for the shit he said, but we'll see. Then I'll break up with him. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt as much as I can. I don't know why some of y'all think I'm just gonna say, we're over, with no explanation or discussion. Update. Okay, so in the short amount of time from my last comment to now, shit hit the fan. I made my last comment from my car, then started driving back home to hopefully try and get my shit together before he got off work in 20 minutes. His mother called me while I was in the car. Literally, as I was driving 2 minutes away from my house, she called me to ask me what sides I wanted her to make for Thanksgiving, and I tried to keep it together as best as I could. I guess she could hear that I was upset because she said in her mom voice, "What's wrong, beautiful?" And I started sobbing. Like so bad, I had to pull over at the entrance of my neighborhood, and I told her the bare minimum of what I'd seen, and she was just dead silent. For like 20 seconds, and I swear my heart fell out of my asshole. She said, honey, he's not at work right now. I damn near died. Get this. Her best friend owns a bunch of apartment complexes, like luxury, nice apartments, like the $3K a month kind. This guy is viewing an apartment to surprise me with when I graduate. His mom said her friend offered one of the apartments to my BF for dirt cheap. He's planning to get all the papers signed and surprise me with them on Valentine's Day since the current tenant is moving into a house with her wife and their lease ends on February 1st. His mom's coming over to look at the screenshots I have, then she's taking me back to their house to confront him. She's literally the sweetest, you guys. She said she wanted to be in the house when I talked to him just in case. Currently sitting right inside the front door of my house, taking the 8 minutes in between their house and mine to type this out. I am in shock. I'm just waiting for her to pull up, so I'll update as soon as I can. I don't think I'm that sad anymore, just pissed off and confused as hell. OP's BF has taken the red pill. It doesn't seem like he's an inherently bad person as he cares about his mom. According to OP, it seems like he understands the hardships that she had to grind through to raise him. If anything, the guy probably has just been on the internet way too much and is someone who is easily influenced by others and wants to feel validated or fit in. That being said, I think totally ending a relationship without at least talking is a very Reddit thing to do. So instead, maybe OP should sit down and have a conversation about this with her BF. Afterward, if it's clear that this is the path he wants to go down, then by all means break up. Obviously, your household and circle can think and act however they want if everyone is in agreement. So if OP's BF is hard stuck in his mindset, then there's not much you can do. I just find it kind of cringe and disrespectful is all. But again, it's not like that's my family, so my opinion doesn't really matter in the first place. And there is an update, however, it seems that it has been deleted. But there is a user that summarized it and left it in a comment under the first post. User Kelsey Kill said, "The update for all who missed it. Basically, her boyfriend and his friends knew a girl in a relationship with a guy who was toxic and had these kinds of beliefs. They were attempting to get proof to show to the girl by gaining his trust. The guy was suspicious of them, so part of that plan included publicly making comments. Upon confrontation, OP's boyfriend pulled up lots of proof immediately that the scheme had been going on for a month and a half. Boyfriend was trying to do something good in a naive 19-year-old way. OP's boyfriend had given his friends his password and they were making comments on his account as part of this whole scheme. In the end, she still wanted to take a month or so break to heal from the whole incident with rules like no dating or intimacy with other people, no frequent texting, going to individual counseling, and then maybe couples counseling. User Visual Highs said, "I disagree with anyone here who says you have a stupid reason to break up. It is important to be with someone who has the same views as you on certain issues. Not everything, mind you, but certain important things. His comment made you uncomfortable because the belief they validated makes you uncomfortable, and it's not stupid to want to get yourself out of an uncomfortable situation." User Archigeo said, "Hey OP, you're doing a really great job and you have a very good head on your shoulders. You're very smart, way smarter and more mature than I was at 18. Wishing you all the best and cheering you on as you make this decision with courage and insight. You'll find someone who isn't a raging misogynist. Sometimes they try to hide it, but they always tell on themselves with their actions and words." This next story was made in the same subreddit by a user named her. The post is titled, "Tonight I saw the negative effects of firsthand with my GF. I, 26M, started dating this girl, 25F, recently. She spent her entire life in a religious bubble and was bullied by her family into believing it up until 2 years ago when she got the courage to break them off. I'm her first ever boyfriend and she said she was a virgin, and tonight we decided to be intimate. I brought her to my bedroom and we started to kiss, and then she really quickly took off her clothes and then pulled my pants down and started to give me the most aggressive and exaggerated BJ I've ever received. Seriously, she was going at 100 miles per hour, trying to choke herself on it and manhandling my with her hand and mouth. It got to a point where I gently pushed her head back and pulled her back up, but then she got on top of me and forced my dick inside her. I could see on her face she very clearly wasn't enjoying it, so I told her we could stop, but she said it was okay. Then she started flailing around on top of me, which I could see she was struggling with and also wasn't enjoying. I stopped her and got her back on her feet and said we were going to try again, and I took the lead. I noticed she kept trying to switch positions every 2 minutes, and I told her she didn't need to do that. From that point on, she was just a total deer in headlights and kept looking at me for guidance on what to do. I walked her through the whole process and also got some insight on how she liked to be touched and handled, and in the end, I think we both enjoyed it. We cuddled afterwards, but I could see from her body language and mannerisms she was very embarrassed. OP is entirely right. There is a major problem with porn negatively affecting the minds of young men, but not just men and the younger ones, but women as well. If anything, it's even worse for women because of just how taboo of a topic this is. With men, it's already a touchy subject, but in a society where there is an expected norm, it can be even more uncomfortable for women to speak up about this kind of thing. It's kind of scary to think how worse off the next generation might be to these same things as technology and its accessibility evolve. I just can't see a path where porn becomes more and more accessible without having an increasingly adverse effect on the general population. Now, I'm sure there's going to be at least 1 or 2 people thinking this, but I don't think that porn in itself is evil. It's like any other vice in the world. In moderation, it's fine. But the industry is so predatory, it's like a never-ending loop for some people. User Spiritual Ad said, "As a woman, I can say that P really messed up my ideas around sex very early on. I did a lot of things I regret because I thought that's what I needed to do, and it wasn't until I met my last partner that I realized just how warped my ideas on sex were. Part of what tanked that relationship was my pee addiction. User VB Power said, "I'm not very vanilla and don't advertise myself as such. I have come across it a few times now where women have certain expectations that they want me to fulfill without communicating them beforehand. I won't without a real conversation about experience and knowledge beforehand. It's not safe to just switch it up to anal. It's not safe to just start choking without safety discussion. It's not safe to do public play without planning. I'm not naturally dominant, so if you put me outside of my comfort zone, the mood is instantly gone. It's created more than a few missed opportunities. I can live with that. Pee is entertainment. The real act requires a lot more care." User Traditional Ad said, "I'm a 52F and I have allowed too many behaviors because I thought that's what was expected. My mom died when I was 6 and I also had a strict upbringing in a small town, so I was naive. I am still learning. I survived an abusive marriage of 13 years. I have dated and had a couple of LTRs. I work daily on trust issues and can honestly say I don't want to be touched and dislike my body. When I am intimate, I can't help but think how I don't have a better looking body like P performers or other people even have. I am pretty and usually like myself, but with intimacy, I can't help but feel like there's an invisible P champion I'm competing with, whether in my mind or his." This next story was also made in True Off My Chest by a user named Sorry Weather. The post is titled, "My husband died and I have to pretend that he was a great man who loved me. My husband passed away 3 months ago and I was relieved. He abused me financially, mentally, and even physically. When I got pregnant, he convinced me to quit my job, saying that he would take care of me. I could never buy anything again without asking his permission. I couldn't even buy a cream without asking his permission, and he decided if I could or not. Even months ago, when I had a little money of my own, I had to ask him for permission to buy something. What was mine was his, and his was his. But I stayed there because I still loved him and I didn't have a place to go. I had too low self-esteem and let myself be stepped on. When I stopped loving him, he had already had his first affair. He made me believe that I was to blame for the affair because I didn't want to have sex months after my birth that left me torn and I had to receive stitches. I was already planning my exit and saving money little by little while I was working selling things from home since he wouldn't let me work outside because he was very jealous. I wanted to pay for a lawyer. He was having another affair with a friend of his, which luckily kept him busier, and I didn't care anymore that he didn't pay attention to me. I wanted him to stay as far away as possible. I knew that man and he knew me. I could have made a big fuss, but I didn't. I kept quiet, planning my way out while he and that man slept together in secret. I only felt disgusted by my husband, nothing more. But my husband died in a way I never would have expected. He is now a martyr. When someone dies, do all the sins of that person disappear? Because that's what even my family thinks. Those who knew about his affair and how he manipulated me are now talking about what a good man he was and that we shouldn't insult someone who's dead. Everyone around me talks about how beautiful our relationship was. His family talks about what a great man he was and how he always focused on giving everything to me and our kid. His affair partner hugged me at the funeral, saying that my husband loved me. His friends told me what a great person he was. Everyone talks about how good he was and how he is now an angel in heaven, and I have to pretend to be sad. The day he died, I cried a lot, but not out of sadness. I cried with relief and I felt free. It would have taken me too many years to save to pay for lawyers with my little store without him realizing that I was keeping money in secret. He would have kept everything. He would have made my life hell, and I know it because he had told me so every time I stood up for myself. But now I have the house, I have everything, I have the monthly money for being a widow, I have my children totally with me, I have started seeing a psychologist. Everyone thinks that I do it to cope with my grief, but no, it is to overcome the abuse I suffered from him. It was really hard to pretend being sad at the funeral, but I did it for my child. I did it because now everything is over and I'm free. If I made a fuss, my ex-mill would have done something so that I wouldn't keep anything. They were just like him. But now I'm just a sad widow who needs help in their eyes. The silly widow who didn't know anything. But that's helping me to be free and have what I deserve. Sorry for the bad English. I used the translator for many parts. Edit, we are not from an Islamic country, and here same-sex couples can live and marry freely. He just cheated on me with a man like he cheated on me with a woman. I guess he was bisexual. About 2 months later, OP provided an update. It's been several weeks since I last posted, and I didn't expect my post to end up in other places. Honestly, I had totally forgotten that I posted here, but a few days ago, the lover and friend of my ex-husband, what I started to call my dead husband, visited my house saying that he found my post. I didn't expect him to find this, and it scared me a bit, but honestly, there's nothing I can do about this anymore if someone has posted it elsewhere without asking me first. One of my sons let him in when I hadn't heard the doorbell, so I had no choice but to let him in to not make a drama in front of my kids, and I wanted to know what he was going to say. Once alone, he told me that he knows that I know about him and my husband having an affair because of the post I sent to TikTok, although I never did any post on TikTok. That's why I think someone uploaded this there. He told me that my husband was not the best husband, but he was a great friend to everyone and a very hardworking man to everyone, that even his family misses him too much, and even though he had his mistakes in the past, that I should let go of the past and stop digging into it because we're all better off like that. He was insisting for a while to such an extent that I felt intimidated by him to the point he reminded me of my husband, and it is the first time that I have had that feeling with a man that is not my ex-husband. I can talk peacefully with them, but this situation made me feel on the verge of a panic attack because of his attitude. He's basically scared that I'll tell everything. He's gay, and I don't know if he has a boyfriend, but maybe he does, and that's why he doesn't want me to say anything about their affair. I've been a submissive woman for years. My ex-husband turned me into a fearful woman that I wasn't before. He made me the kind of woman who was always going to put her head down, but when he died, I felt so happy and liberated. I cried with relief for days, and when this man came into my house to tell me what to do, it was like seeing my ex-husband again, giving me instructions about how to behave and what to do. The man who knows very well that I was in an abusive relationship because he knew how my ex was and chose to sleep with him anyway. The man my husband made me cook for and then him as if I were just a maid, was at my house telling me that my ex was a good person and that I should shut my mouth. He was telling me what to do, and I just punched his face. To be honest, I wanted to slap him, but for some reason, I felt so angry that I hit him, and it felt like hitting my husband too. I don't regret it, and I felt good. I yelled at him and told him to leave, or I was going to tell everyone what happened. He ended up leaving the house, and he has been quiet since that day. My main plan was just to shut my mouth and let go of the past, but that is one thing, and a totally different thing is that this man comes and wants to impose on me what to do as if I were a doll. Maybe my reaction wasn't the best, but I'm tired of people telling me to shut up. I never managed to say anything to my husband, and that day I felt that I somehow did that. I haven't told anyone yet, nor do I think about doing so, but if he does something, I won't hesitate twice before this time whether to make a TikTok or post on Facebook talking about everything. With the issue of the house, with the economic crisis, I'm not sure that anyone can afford what a house like this is worth, but for now I have focused on finally being able to get a better job in the future to be able to rent a house and be able to rent this house. That could be a really good way to have money. My other goal in the future is to buy a small piece of land, no matter how far it is. I want to have something that is my own and my children's. My children don't miss their father too much, and I understand them. It has taken me a while to get them a child psychologist, but recently they started to go to their sessions and they are doing well. I also go to a psychologist. I think the best thing I've done is to start making excuses for my ex-MIL and my own family for not seeing them as often as before, and I've started the stage of cutting off contact little by little, making excuses with work or that we're not at home, although I still have to let my ex-Mill come home from time to time. I think even my kids are happier when they see that my own mood is better. I doubt that many people are interested in this, but thank you for the messages I received, although many do not understand that cultures and laws are different, and here buying a house or moving to the other side of a country in a month is impossible for many. User Coffee Obsessed said, "I truly loathe the idea that you should not speak ill of the dead. If they were evil, I see no reason we should pretend that they were saints. Our memories of them certainly were not of saints." User Harley Quinn said, "I could have written this post. She is going through what I went through. I found out that my husband had an affair in 2011. He traveled for work, so it was super easy for him to do it. I confronted him when I found the text messages between him and her. I was ready to leave, but his mom had just been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Because I loved her so much, I kept quiet. When I left him in 2013, I knew of 3 women who he was seeing and supporting. At the end of 2015, he passed away from cancer. To say that I was relieved would be an understatement. I had to call one of his APs to tell her of his death. Everyone loved him so much and it made me sick. His work put up plaques in his honor and even planted trees in his honor. I wanted so badly to tell everyone about the child P I found on all of his devices, how he abused me for years and what an awful human he had been, but there was no reason to say anything. I'm still healing and I don't know if I will ever believe that someone will love me. He broke me and I'm still picking up the pieces. I hope OP knows how much of a survivor she is. User Halogen Pie said, "What's so wild is that her original post clearly states she's going to stay quiet about it all. She lists several reasons it's best for her to keep quiet and that that's her plan. The details she gives are either incredibly vague, a secret, or could apply to tons of people. He recognized the post because he knows he was having an affair with a man who abused his wife. So he's a piece of shit and mind-bogglingly stupid for going and thinking he needed to be such a colossal asshole to his dead affair partner's widow to make her do exactly what she planned to do.